Welcome to day 4 of the Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace, hosted by me, Melissa O'Malley, where I read to you from the Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace. If you would like to follow along in the group that I'm hosting, let me know. I'll add you. Or you can find the Alcohol Experiments, like official group by Annie Grace as well. Today, we're going to hop into chapter 4 called Dealing with Discomfort. And we start with a quote by Sydney Banks. It says, "If the only thing that people learned was not to be afraid of their experience, that alone would change the world." I love that. Don't be afraid of your experience. So, all right, I'll make it pretty clear when I'm shifting voices, but I'm just reading straight from Ms. Annie Grace. When you decide to give up alcohol, you might experience some discomfort. I'm not talking about severe physical addiction here. If you've been drinking heavily for a long time, your body and mind may have become physically dependent to the point where you have severe withdrawal symptoms, such as delirium tremens or hallucinations. If that's the case, you need to get medical help. You may even need to be hospitalized for a while. When I say discomfort, I'm talking about the physical symptoms that occur while your body is healing itself. I'm also talking about the psychological and emotional discomfort that comes up because you're giving up something that you believe you need. It takes time, up to a week or longer, for your body to rebalance after you stop drinking. While that's happening, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable. Because alcohol is physically addictive, there are withdrawal symptoms, which are different for different people. When I stopped drinking, I had headaches, anxiety, irritability, and weird nightmares that I accidentally had a drink. The first 10 days were the most intense, but the symptoms went on for about 30 days. Clearly, that's longer than the time it took for the chemical substance to clear out of my body. So what gives? Why did it take so long? Shouldn't we feel better as soon as the alcohol is gone? Our bodies are more complicated than that, and there's an emotional side to withdrawal as well. When researchers studied heroin addicts, they found that the severity of withdrawal could depend on the individual's access to the substance they were addicted to. For instance, if the person went to jail and suddenly had zero access to their drug of choice, the withdrawal symptoms weren't as severe as one might expect. But when that person was released years later and they suddenly had access again, the withdrawal symptoms came back. How weird is that? How is it possible to go through withdrawal years after ingesting a substance? This demonstrates how physical and emotional withdrawals are intertwined. Each affects the other, and our subconscious can easily keep things buried for a long time and then allow them to resurface later. Changing your mindset. What helped me get through this initial period of physical withdrawal was flipping my mindset. Instead of seeing the headaches and anxiety as punishment for an addiction that I should have been able to control, I chose to see them as signs that my amazing body was healing itself. I was willing to be sick and put up with discomfort to make my body whole again. I knew I had to be treating it poorly. So I decided to treat it with kindness and give it whatever time it needed to heal. If you're not feeling your best right now, cut yourself some slack. Imagine if your child was feeling sick. Would you yell at her for being a bad person or telling her she was getting what she deserved? Of course not. You'd let her rest on the couch, eat chicken soup, and maybe watch some cartoons. You tell her to let her body do its job. Give yourself the same courtesy. The emotional aspects. If you hear my baby crying, he's with his dad. He's okay. He's not being ignored, just so you know. The emotional aspects. As you probably know, there's more to withdrawal than physical discomfort. There's an emotional side as well, and both sides are all tangled up with each other. It's almost like as soon as you get a handle on one, the other falls to pieces, and you're so tempted to give up this experiment and crack open a beer. I get it. On the emotional side, you might feel sad, angry, or resentful. After all, you're giving up something you believe you enjoy. Your subconscious believes you need alcohol to loosen up, relax, have fun with your friends, or handle stress. When you take that coping mechanism away without dealing with all those subconscious beliefs, there will be consequences in the form of emotional distress and cravings. That is why I'm calling these 30 days an experiment. You're simply testing the waters to see how you might feel if you weren't drinking. Your subconscious mind isn't necessarily going to like that, but it's better than laying down the law and saying no more alcohol ever. That kind of ultimatum can result in a full-on emotional mutiny. Throughout the course of this experiment, you're going to explore those subconscious beliefs of yours. One day at a time, you're going to read a little bit about different ideas that might make you question what you once thought was true. By the time you reach the end of this book, in fact, you might decide that you never need or even want another drink. And your subconscious will totally go along with that. That's called spontaneous sobriety, and it happens all the time. It happened to me. When your conscious and subconscious minds are in harmony and desire the same thing, there's no cognitive dissonance. And when that happens, there's no struggle. You have no cravings and no desire to go back. Getting curious. But that's later. For right now, simply realize that your feelings and physical symptoms are real. Take the time to feel them, honor them. Appreciate what your body is trying to tell you, and do not give in to the temptation to use alcohol to numb them. These symptoms are temporary. They will go away in time. So, what can you do in the meantime? How do you handle the emotional discomfort and strong desire to give in? My solution was to get curious about my own behavior. Anytime I had a strong urge to drink, I sat with it and went deep into what was going on. I became an internal reporter. I asked myself questions all the time to find out what I was feeling exactly and what was actually causing me to feel that way. Sometimes I felt like I was missing out because I was with a group of friends who were all drinking. Other times I'd had a hard day at work and felt like I needed a drink to calm my nerves. Other times I felt like I'd been good for so long that I deserved to have a drink as a reward. Today, instead of trying to ignore or overcome your discomfort by having a drink, ask yourself, why do I want to drink right now? What is it that I think alcohol will do to make this moment better? And then ask yourself, is that true? If you're completely objective and honest, you might surprise yourself with the answers. Do this little exercise first. Write down your answers or record yourself in a video diary or a voice memo. By doing this, you're observing the symptoms as something separate from you. You're giving yourself perspective and a little bit of time for the feelings to subside. And remember that your body is amazing. It's taking care of you right now by getting rid of all the toxins it's had to deal with for a long time. Yeah, you might not feel your best for a bit, but when the process is complete, your body will feel better than ever. And consider the online social challenge at alcoholexperiment.com. You can find thousands of others who are doing this exact experiment. Sharing your insights with others in a safe, judgment-free environment is incredibly powerful. So here's the day 4 journal questions. Remember, all the wisdom you seek is actually inside you. The most important words in this experiment are the ones you tell yourself. Take some time and answer these questions in a journal, a voice memo to yourself, or simply by speaking the questions out loud for only you to hear. 1. Discomfort so far. Even the worst feelings fade with time. Today, you can memorialize any discomfort you've experienced to help you become more mindful in the future. Take a moment and write about all the ways you have felt physically uncomfortable in these first few days of the experiment. Be as specific as possible. 2. Temptations so far? What specifically has tempted you to drink? What reasons have you given yourself to consider giving in? Become very mindful and outline both your triggers and your brain's logic as it tries to convince you to drink. That's day 4. Awesome. That's day 4. Thank you so much for being here. Tomorrow is day 5, and the chapter is called What Are Cravings Really? So I will see you then. Take good care of yourself. And as always, let me know if there's anything I can do to support you and make this a little easier on you. All right. Bye.